BBC World Service, and now witness history. I'm Maria Margulies, heading back 50 years to the Cyprus was spoken to in July 1970. For years ago, the Turkish Cypriot from the village of Patania, just up studying abroad.
On the 15th of July, I was carrying hay with my father to our house in the village. And as we were emptying the hay on the tractor, I realized that nearly all of the women in the village were crying. I said to my father, what could have happened? And he said, most probably the priest of the village has died. So he said, we'll stop at the coffee house and see if the priest is dead so that we could attend to the funeral. As soon as I entered the coffee house, the radio was on saying, Ellinike, Kypria, Kelae, O Makarios, Nikros.
Greek Cypriot nation, Makarios is dead. Archbishop Makarios, the elected president of Cyprus, had been deposed in a coup sponsored by the military dictatorship in Athens. But he wasn't dead. He'd escaped and was soon addressing his people from a secret radio transmitter.
As we were drinking our coffee, two youngsters came with pistols hanging on their necks. And I said, what's this? You are not soldiers, you are not policemen, you are carrying guns. And they said, we just took over the police station. And now we are done. There is not anything for you supposed to worry. You will be better off.
The youngsters would be separate from the village.
In fact, one of them, whose father was very close to the life, people in the village had changed a lot in those 10 years.
To understand that change, we have to go back to the 1950s, when Cyprus was still a British colony. The island's Greek Cypriot majority and Turkish Cypriot minority mostly rubbed along together. Some, like Bekir, in mixed villages.
The village of Bodamia is a very special one. In Bodamia, people were living separately, but in a great harmony. We used to visit one another, help one another. Greeks used to go to their churches, we used to go to our mosque. But the coffee house was a common one, people would gather there.
But in the 1950s, a Greek Cypriot organization known as EOKA launched an anti-colonial struggle for Enosis, or union with Greece, driving a wedge between the two communities.
After 1955, things started to become ugly. And moreover, British helped a lot the separation because they called in all of the jobless youngsters to become policemen, Turkish youngsters. And of course, the Turkish Cypriot youngsters started fighting against EOKA. EOKA men started killing Turkish youngsters, and you have got the separation of the two communities, with some exceptions like my village, and that was separated after 1960.
In 1960, Cyprus finally won its independence, with Archbishop Makarios as president, under a flawed constitution that satisfied nobody and further divided the Greek and Turkish Cypriots.
Section 1 of the Act of Parliament of the United Kingdom, entitled the Cyprus Act.
We had a cooperative society, a new cooperative society was opened, a Greek one, so we started having two cooperative societies. We had a village club where we used to have a mixed team. After 1960, we had two clubs and two teams. You could see the curtain coming between the two societies. And then hatred started.
Within 3 years, hatred had turned to violence. British peacekeepers were called in. When some Turks shot 3 Greek policemen near Potania, Greek Cypriots came to a nearby Turkish village to take revenge.
That day, my mother happened to be in that village because her brother's wife got in, and she went there to help them washing clothes and baking bread village was attacked. About 10 people were killed.
By then, British troops had arrived.
And a group of ladies were taken prisoners.
They were taken prisoners by the Greeks even though the British were there.
Yeah,
The British didn't stop them.
no.
Why not?
Well, they were just noting down what happened. Nothing more.
Bekir's mother was lucky.
The gang leader recognized my mother because when they were children, they were playing together. And he said, okay, from here we go to Podamya.
But the other Turkish Cypriots, including Bekir's father, had fled Podamya in fear, so his mother went to a neighbor's house in the nearest Turkish village.
It was February 1964. It was rainy and a cold night. And my mother sat at the window of the neighbor's house and watched her house to be looted. My father was so disappointed of his friends, Greek friends in the village. He said, I cannot live anymore in this village. We had our garden about 1.5 miles out of the village. So he went and built a small house there. They had animals, they were growing vegetables.
After the violence of 1964, the family left their home in Podamya for good. Their old house in the village became the barn where Bekir and his father were taking their hay when they encountered those gunmen on the day of the Greek coup in July 1974. The gunmen were members of LKP, a new guerrilla force set up and armed by the Athens junta, and one of them said they were going to unite Cyprus with Greece.
I told him, well, you can easily handle Turkish Cypriots. And I said, but what about Turkey? He said, don't worry, we have such armaments that not even a Turkish plane could fly into the airspace of Cyprus. As soon as we got out of the village, I told my father, if people start talking like that, that's a sign of great danger. We cannot live here. And then my father said, well, I lost nearly everything that I had in 64. I don't want to lose it once again in 72. I'll stay here, and if they kill me, they'll kill me.
Days later, despite the confident swagger of the LKP boys, Turkey invaded the island, taking a third of it and displacing more than 200,000 mostly Greek Cypriots. Neither Britain nor the US moved to stop it. Cyprus's strategic location means it's always been coveted by outside powers, ready to exploit divisions to further their own interests. Bekir's parents spent the war hiding in their garden well.
So nothing happened to them. But unfortunately, in 1976, as my father was driving his tractor, he either stepped on a mine or one of those bombs which were not detonated. My mother saw the black smoke that rose, and he just became small. We couldn't find anything.
Bekir Özgun became a writer and peace campaigner. He was talking to me, Maria Margaronis, for Witness History from the BBC World Service.